Our emotions are powerful. They can overwhelm us, sweeping us off our feet and taking control of our actions and thoughts. Like chains, they can hold us back from what we want, binding us in ways that are often invisible but deeply felt. Fear can stop us from going after our dreams. It whispers doubts and insecurities, making us question our abilities and worth. Anger can damage our relationships. It can erupt like a volcano, leaving destruction in its wake and pushing away those we care about. Sadness can keep us stuck in the past, replaying old memories and regrets, preventing us from moving forward and embracing new opportunities. To live a stronger life, we need to learn to master our emotions. This means understanding them, acknowledging their presence, and not letting them dictate our actions. Imagine a stoic warrior facing battle without flinching. This warrior embodies the strength and resilience we all aspire to have. This image reminds us that we have the power to control our reactions. We can choose how we respond to life's challenges. We don't have to be slaves to our feelings. We can break free from the chains that bind us and take control of our emotional landscape. This doesn't mean we become robots, devoid of feeling. Emotions are a natural and essential part of the human experience. It means we learn to experience emotions without letting them control us. We can feel deeply and still maintain our composure and clarity. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in. The ancient Stoics offered wisdom on how to navigate the turbulent waters of our emotional lives. The Stoics taught that virtue is the sole good and that we should focus on what we can control. They believed that our inner world is where true power lies. We can't control external events, but we can control our thoughts and reactions. This shift in focus can transform our lives. By mastering our minds, we can navigate life's challenges with strength and resilience. We become like the mountain climber, steadily ascending despite the obstacles. This essay explores the art of emotional mastery, inspired by Stoic principles. It delves into practical techniques and philosophical insights. It's about building a life where you're in control, free from the chains of destructive emotions, a life where you stand tall and empowered. You'll discover practical steps to manage your inner world, strengthen your resilience, and live with purpose and peace. These steps will guide you towards a more balanced and fulfilling life. We're taught to believe in the power of love. While love is a powerful emotion, it can also cloud our judgment. When we love someone too much, we become attached. This attachment can lead to fear of loss, jealousy, and possessiveness. Think of a vine clinging to a tree. The vine needs the tree for support, but too much clinging can suffocate the tree. Similarly, excessive attachment can suffocate our emotional well-being. This applies to romantic relationships, friendships, even material possessions. The Stoics understood the dangers of excessive attachment. They taught that true happiness comes from within, not from external sources. By detaching ourselves from outcomes, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. This doesn't mean becoming cold and unloving. It means loving with wisdom and detachment. It means understanding that everything in life is temporary. By accepting this truth, we can appreciate the present moment without clinging to it. Empathy is often seen as a virtue. It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. While empathy is crucial for building meaningful connections, it can also be draining. If we're not careful, we can become overwhelmed by the emotions of others. Imagine a sponge constantly absorbing water. If the sponge isn't squeezed out, it becomes heavy and unusable. We too can become emotionally heavy if we constantly absorb the negativity around us. Selective empathy is about choosing who we allow to influence our emotional state. It's about setting boundaries and protecting our emotional well-being. This might mean limiting our exposure to negative people or situations. It's not about becoming indifferent to the suffering of others. It's about understanding that we can't help others if we're emotionally drained ourselves. By practicing selective empathy, we can preserve our own well-being while still being there for those who truly need us. Section 4. Toxic relationships, pruning for emotional growth. Just like a garden needs regular pruning to thrive, our lives need to be free of toxic relationships. These relationships can act like weeds, choking the life out of us and preventing us from reaching our full potential. Toxic relationships can manifest in various forms, whether it's a friend who constantly belittles you, a partner who manipulates your emotions, or a family member who drains your energy. These relationships drain our energy, damage our self-esteem, and hinder our growth. They create an environment where we feel constantly stressed, anxious, and unworthy. Identifying and removing these negative influences is crucial for our emotional well-being. It's not always easy to recognize these toxic elements, but once we do, taking action is essential. Think of a parasite that feeds off its host. Just as a parasite saps the vitality of a plant, toxic people can drain our emotional energy, leaving us feeling depleted and exhausted. Toxic people might be manipulative, critical, or constantly negative. They can make us doubt our worth and capabilities, often leaving us in a state of perpetual self-doubt. These relationships can be romantic, where a partner's constant criticism erodes our self-esteem, familial, where a family member's negativity affects our mental health, or platonic, where a friend's toxic behavior impacts our happiness. Breaking free from toxic relationships can be challenging. It often involves making difficult decisions and taking steps that might initially feel uncomfortable. It might require difficult conversations, setting firm boundaries, or even walking away. These steps are necessary to protect our emotional health and well-being. Remember, you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, not drag you down. Positive relationships are those that bring joy, support, and encouragement into our lives. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is essential. These are the people who celebrate your successes, support you in tough times, and inspire you to be your best self. Seek out relationships that nourish your soul, inspire you, and make you feel valued. These connections are the foundation of a fulfilling and happy life. When you are surrounded by people who appreciate and value you, it boosts your confidence and self-worth. It creates a positive feedback loop that encourages personal growth and happiness. Just as a gardener cultivates a thriving garden, we must cultivate a life filled with positive, supportive relationships. This requires effort, but the rewards are immeasurable. By nurturing these positive connections, we create an environment where we can flourish emotionally, mentally, and even physically. So, take the time to prune away the toxic relationships and make room for those that truly matter. Section 5, the strength in silence, restraint, and emotional mastery. In a world that often celebrates loud expressions, there's immense strength in silence. Silence is not just the absence of noise, but a powerful tool for introspection and self-control. Practicing restraint in our emotional responses is key to mastering our inner world. It allows us to navigate through life's challenges with a calm and composed demeanor. This doesn't mean suppressing our emotions, but rather choosing when and how to express them. It's about understanding our feelings deeply and deciding the best course of action. Imagine a dam holding back a rushing river. The dam doesn't stop the water, it controls its flow, releasing it in a measured and purposeful way. The dam provides control and stability. Similarly, emotional restraint provides us with the ability to manage our feelings without being overwhelmed by them. Practicing restraint allows us to channel our emotional energy effectively, preventing impulsive reactions that can lead to regret. It helps us to respond thoughtfully rather than react hastily. When we feel a strong emotion, it's tempting to react immediately. This immediate reaction is often driven by our primal instincts, which can sometimes lead us astray. However, taking a moment to pause and reflect can make all the difference. This pause allows us to assess the situation more clearly and choose a response that aligns with our values and long-term goals. Ask yourself, is this reaction helpful? Will it contribute positively to the situation, or will it escalate the problem? Will it serve me well in the long run? These questions help us to gain perspective and act in a way that is beneficial for ourselves and others. By practicing restraint, we gain clarity, make better decisions, and cultivate a sense of inner peace. This inner peace is not just a fleeting feeling, but a lasting state of being that enhances our overall well-being. We become less reactive and more intentional in our actions, embodying the Stoic ideal of reasoned choice. This intentionality allows us to live a life that is true to our principles and aspirations, leading to a more fulfilling and harmonious existence. Section 6. Building fortresses, physical and emotional boundaries. Just as a fortress has walls to protect its inhabitants, we need to establish boundaries to protect our well-being. Physical boundaries relate to our personal space, time, and energy. Emotional boundaries involve protecting our feelings, thoughts, and values. Imagine a drawbridge that can be raised or lowered. Our boundaries too can be adjusted depending on the situation and the people involved. Setting clear boundaries communicates our limits and helps prevent others from encroaching on our well-being. It's important to identify your non-negotiables. What are the things you absolutely will not tolerate? This could be disrespect, manipulation, or negativity. Once you know your limits, communicate them clearly and assertively. Remember, setting boundaries is not selfish. It's an act of self-care. It allows us to protect our energy, maintain healthy relationships, and create a space where we can thrive.